child doesn't become angry all of a sudden.
Anger is an emotion. Is it really bad?
Anger is an important tool. Emotions have a purpose. They are communicating to you something.
I used to get angry. My parents used to get angry. I used to start yelling. They used to start yelling. I'm thinking maybe that was not a great approach.
Children are looking for protection. They're looking for love. Fear-based parenting doesn't work in the longer run. It actually undermines trust and also damages the parent-child relationship.
Children getting angry is a common topic of discussion amongst parents. From the eye rolling to the sulking to the door slamming, we make several jokes about it. But have we really tried to understand it? In today's episode, let's take a look at anger as an emotion and try to understand, is it really a bad thing? We will also take a look at ways parents can help their children process their emotions. Now, obviously, the next question will be, but what about discipline? Well, let's take a look at that too. Hello and welcome to Guidecast, an initiative by Narayana Educational Institutions. With a legacy of 45 years, Narayana Educational Institutions is truly dedicated to the overall development of their students and in realizing their dreams, because at Narayana, your dreams are our dreams. I am your hostess, Shezi. Joining me is Vijay Lakshmi ma'am with 25 years of experience in psychology. Her expertise in behavioral sciences has led to the creation of several impactful mental health programs. As Chief Welfare Officer at Narayana, Vijay Lakshmi ma'am is constantly empowering parents to build stronger relationships with their children. Welcome, Vijay Lakshmi ma'am.
Thank you, Shazi. It's a pleasure to be here.
Ma'am, just jumping straight into the questions, because I hear this so often. A lot of times parents will be, I don't know what happens to them suddenly. My sweet obedient child, in less than a minute, they're an angry young one. I want to understand, why is that happening, ma'am?
A child doesn't become angry all of a sudden. There could be many possible reasons for that. One, while the child is growing up, if they have not learned healthy ways to express anger, it becomes anger outbursts. So usually children do have a lot of pent-up emotions. So when they are not feeling heard, or when they're not understood, when they feel ignored, or when they're being yelled at. So anger just doesn't pop out of nowhere. Anger, it comes as a result when the child feels there's a loss of control, or if they need to assert their independence.
So ma'am, I really want to understand now. Anger is an emotion. Is it really bad?
Anger is an important emotion. And before I respond whether it's good or bad, let us understand why we have emotions. Right? So emotions have a purpose. They are communicating to you something. So it's like energy in motion. Now, through our experiences, what we learn is to accept certain emotions, which are usually positive, like joy, happiness, right? We accept them. There are certain emotions we tend to disregard, the negative emotions like anger, sadness, or disgust. Right? So if you understand, there is a reason why we have these emotions. They enter our body and they leave. And in this process, they leave a message. So what they're actually doing is they're acting as communication tools, which are often temporary. So yeah, anger is an important emotion.
Ma'am, now that you spoke about this, I'm remembering my childhood. And I used to get angry. My parents used to get angry. I used to start yelling. They used to start yelling. It used to become a yelling party, and the loudest person normally won. Now, in hindsight, I'm thinking maybe that was not a great approach.
Yelling is not the right expression for both the parties, Shazi. What parents need to understand is children during growing years, their rationalization, their logical thinking, their decision making is not yet completely formed. But parents don't heed to this metamorphosis. So a question that they can ask for themselves is, what do children need? So children are looking for protection. They're looking for love. They're looking to be cared. They're looking to be heard. So if any of these needs are violated, they resort to anger. So if you understand, anger is an important tool. So what parents can actually be doing is help the child manage this tool to protect themselves. So if I give you an example, if a child is coming to a parent and then saying, I want this help from you. So the parent, rather than responding, I don't have time for this, instead what they can be doing is, can I sit with you after I finish my work, maybe around 6 o'clock? Then what happens is a clear communication is being passed to the child. and the parent needs to remember to keep the promise.
So, how do you think parents can help their children regulate anger, ma'am, while simultaneously not compromising on the discipline?
So every household has its own set of routines which are value based and rule based. Disciplining brings in structure, right? The child is aware of the do's and don'ts. But what we usually do is when we are laying out rules, we don't discuss the consequences and we impose restrictions. For example, if the child is said, you can play till 6 o'clock. So that is an expectation. You need to tidy up after you play is another expectation. Now, if you don't tidy up, what happens is you will not be able to play with them tomorrow. So here the consequences explained, right? So when a secure system like this is being created, the child is aware what he has to do and what he can't be doing.
Ma'am, so we understood about discipline, but how does this regulate anger?
Coming to regulating of anger, the parent can tell healthy ways of managing anger, like why don't we talk about it? Or why don't you write down how you feel about it? For instance, when the parent realizes that the child is angry, parent can say, I know the new house rule you're not in agreement with and that is making you angry. So let's talk in a little while. When the child is a little calmer, he can process information. Also, it's important that parent, they can't be just saying what to do. They also have to model these behaviors. So when conversations of this kind happen, the parent is normalizing the emotion. And also, child feels okay that it's okay to feel angry and there are healthy ways of managing it. And also, certain times what happens is no matter how much we train, children tend to get angry.
And now my favorite part of the episode, it is myth debunking time. Ma'am, I've heard this often that for a disciplined household, it's imperative that the child should be afraid of at least one parent.
Shizzy, fear-based parenting doesn't work in the longer run. It actually undermines trust and also damages the parent-child relationship. So instead, clear communication and a few set of rules actually helps. So it's imperative that both the parents are required in the upbringing process. They play a prominent role.
Ma'am, we have a few questions that have come in from the parents. This one says, my firstborn has always been very understanding with no temper tantrums. It was quite easy to manage him, but my younger one is always back answering and throwing tantrums. Both are being raised in the same way by us.
It's common for parents to observe, difference of behaviors or the way they react to between both the siblings. Each child does have a different need in terms of their developmental stages. So it's quite natural for them to be different. Now, for the older ones, they get all the undivided attention. But when the younger one is born, we'll have to share that attention.
Ma'am, here's another question for you. I have always heard that teenage boys are a handful, but I have a 13-year-old daughter who is very difficult to control. What can I do?
Shizzy, girls and boys do respond differently. So now in this case, the girl, she's 13 years old. She must be on the onset of her puberty, which could be triggering her temper tantrums. So a parent also needs to identify if there are any other unaddressed issues that the child is dealing with. So if the parent can sit with the child, spend in some quality time, they can listen to them and then converse. So that is when the parent can get to the root of the problem rather than control the child.
Yeah, so please don't control your child.
Yes, Shizzy, the goal of parenting is not to control but to support.
Anger is not a bad thing. Processing your emotions and allowing them to pass through the body is such an important thing to teach your child. It's so vital for their overall development. What an eye-opener of a conversation today. Vijay Lakshmi ma'am, thank you so very much for your valuable insights today. I'm sure there are a lot of parents who are watching this and taking back solid information to now work with.
Absolutely, Shizzy. Parents can be rest assured that you're not alone in this journey. We are here to support you in your parenting journey.
Ma'am, would you like to give us a little sneak peek into what we're going to cover in the next episode?
In recent times, there is an increased spike in the number of cases that come to us related to digital addiction. So maybe let's talk about digital addiction.
Ma'am, that's a problem I'm also struggling with right now. If you have any questions to ask Vijay Lakshmi ma'am about this, do share them with us on the email address appearing on the screen. In fact, if you want to share your questions and your thoughts, why don't you write them in the comments below? Thank you very much, Vijay Lakshmi ma'am, for this wonderfully insightful episode and for this wonderful initiative by Narayana.
Pleasure was mine, Shizzy. Thank you.
Thank you for joining Guidecast, where we are dedicated to helping you understand and support your child's journey to success and fulfillment. With insights from Disha, the mental wellness program by Narayana Educational Institutions, a beacon of educational excellence for over 4 decades, we aim to empower parents and students alike. Remember, at Narayana, your dreams are our dreams.